Welcome back. All right, so quick news of the day video for all you fine people on the internet to close out the videos that are going live today that I'm making. I'm down to 7 left before we leave that I have to make that will post to the channel live next week. So just 7. I can figure out a way to get 7 more videos out, but that means I've done 25 so far. Anyways, the Hlinka Gretzky Cup, the preliminary round started today. So Switzerland and Canada is starting in like 5-10 minutes. I figured better off just to do the news video now. Sweden beat Slovakia 4-3. That went to overtimes. Germany beat Finland 2-1. That went to overtime as well. Czechia beat the U.S. 2-1. That game was tied 1-1 until late, and Czechia gets the goals. So this has been a tight tournament thus far. Keeping in mind what I mentioned earlier today, that there are a lot of not a lot of general managers, a lot of scouting staff in attendance. A lot of teams sending their scouts there to check out these players. A lot of them going into their draft year. So it's an important tournament for these kids. Again, I kind of feel bad that a tournament you're playing in August is going to maybe affect your draft stock one way or the other. But hey, the guys who do well, it's going to push their stock up. Shillington has signed a 1-year deal with the Colorado Avalanche. It's worth $1.05 million. Shillington's a player that I like. I hope he has a good bounce back season. And by bounce back, I mean just is able to play the full season in Colorado. I will say this, adding Shillington and Brandstrom, these are both like quietly pretty good additions for them. So I like what Colorado's done this offseason. I don't think it's been bad at all. We'll see what else they might have in store. They have a little bit of cap space there, so they might do something else before we get to training camp. The Laine speculation is out there, and I really wish I had more to offer than just to say it's everywhere. Every site's talking about where's Laine going to go. And it feels like he's the most obvious one. We know he's on the trade block. So there's other ones we suspect are on the trade block, might be on the trade block, but in the case of Patrick Laine, we know. There's no doubt about Laine being on the trade block. And so the sooner this gets done, I think the better. But since it is the first week of August, I don't know how urgent these talks are. And I would imagine these talks will get a little more urgent as we get towards the end of August and we're getting closer to training camp. Once training camp's on the horizon, that's where teams are looking at their lineups and saying, we might lead a little more punch, and then maybe they look at Laine. He only played 18 games this past season, had 6 goals and 3 assists, so down year on the ice, and of course, he was in the player assistance program. The previous season, he played 55 games, 22 goals, 30 assists, 52 points, so right near a point per game. But the 22 goals in 55 games, Laine has a great shot, so I'm surprised he doesn't score more goals. We'll see if his goal totals go back up if he does get moved. And if he can stay, in the lineup for a full season. That's a big question mark at this point. But Laine, the sooner he gets moved, I think the better. But the speculation could be there, I would say, until maybe the last week of August, and then we might see a move. Because again, that's where teams start to feel that pressure a little bit just before training camp. So one thing I wanted to throw out here too is that for the season previews, and I'm really trying to beef them up this year, I'm going to do the 4-foot by 2-foot board with them. I want to include fantasy projections as well. So this kind of leans towards me delaying them a little bit in that I want to have fantasy projections from various publications and websites and then just give my opinion on where I think that player is trending based on all of the hockey I watched this past season. So I'll do that for key players because I know there's a lot of people that do fantasy. Fantasy does not involve gambling, not in all cases. So I think fantasy is fun. I've done fantasy hockey numerous times and I've never spent a cent on it. So yeah, I'll be throwing that in with the season previews and just an update on how long it is before the regular season starts. We are 60 days, so a little less than 2 months away from the start of the regular season, which is October the 4th. Today's August the 5th. So we are 60 days out from the start of the 2024-2025 season, which is, of course, a 2-game set overseas. And then the regular season in North America starts a couple days after that. But again, we have 60 days until we're playing hockey games that are important. And there's a lot of reports on which young players are bulking up over the summer or getting themselves into better shape over the summer. There really isn't a downtime for hockey players now. There used to be a time where from like June until August, you could just kind of sit around, just kind of do your thing. If you put on a few pounds, you've put on a few pounds, and it would take them a while to get back into shape. Those days are gone. Players are in shape pretty much 365 days a year for the most part, and kudos to them for sticking with it. And it does mean that we have less players looking out of it when we get to training camp at the preseason. But yeah, so that's how far out we are. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Avs fans, how do you feel about picking up Shillington? Again, he's missed a lot of time over the last couple of seasons, but when Shillington is healthy, he can be a very good top 6 defenseman, and I think that's a solid addition for them. Even if he ends up being the number 7, I think that's a good move on their part. But let me know your thoughts. Do hit like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support as always. I will talk to you again soon.